Hello everyone, it's me, and I'm back. And today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Now there's only two rules. I need to have played the game, which is pretty obvious, and I can't put multiple games in the same series multiple times. Because then Pokemon would probably take over the entire thing, and that wouldn't end well. So, we're going to have to lock that out. And if you can't tell, based on the content on my channel, I really like video games, and Nintendo games especially. And stay tuned till the end, because then you'll see my favorite game of all time. And considering I barely talk about it, it's going to be quite the surprise. Let's get right into it with number 10, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, Animal Crossing is a great series, and it took a lot of thinking about whether or not I should put New Horizons or New Leaf in this spot. And I decided on New Horizons just because New Leaf I still stand by that New Leaf was the better game because they just removed content for New Horizons. By the end of the update schedule they have planned, it'll definitely be the better game. But at this moment in time, New Leaf is the better game. But something about New Horizons feels better. The way they give you all that customization, putting stuff outside, I think it makes the entire game, in my opinion. If that was really the leg up, because in New Leaf you had to deal with the public work projects and you had outside furniture, but like you can't use it because you can only place stuff inside. It was strange, but now that we can finally place stuff outside, that's what, like, my island, it can look exactly how I like it, especially with terraforming. Although terraforming can be stressful, it's better to have it than to not have it. So that's why New Horizons managed to take the top spot. No, not the top spot out of the Animal Crossing games. Let's move on to number 9, which is Scribblenauts Unlimited. Now, if you're not familiar with the Scribblenauts series, it's a series of games where you have a magic notebook and you can type in anything, and then it appears. And even that concept alone, I feel like that could make an entire game. But they have like characters and like stories and stuff, so it keeps you playing. And I think Unlimited did the best job out of all of them. It's the newest actual game, because the newest game with the Scribblenauts name is Scribblenauts Showdown, which is like a Mario Party clone, and it's not a Scribblenauts game. They have like a slight Scribblenauts sandbox mode, but it's not the same. And then we have Scribblenauts Unmasked, came out before that, but that had DC characters in it and everything. So it didn't feel like Scribblenauts. It also reset the area every time you leave, and I didn't like that because I want to be my lasting impact on the world. But in Unlimited, like, you can create a city of gorillas, and then when you come back to the city, it's still going to be filled with gorillas. But you still have the option to reset, of course, just in case you mess up. So, like, and it also has customization features where you create your own object. So the way it's set up, I feel like this is definitely the best Scribblenauts game. And even if this game didn't exist, any Scribblenauts game would have appeared on this list due to the very strong concept and the way it enables creativity for the problem solving. Number 8 is Super Mario Maker. Now, Super Mario Maker, I was really excited for Super Mario Maker when it first came out on the Wii U. Just the concept is so cool, making your own Mario levels. And it's just really cool, the way they set it up. And in my opinion, Super Mario Maker is more fun than Super Mario Maker 2. Super Mario Maker 2 is no doubt the better game. But Mario Maker had more of like those randomness, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, if you fall, Mario would make weird noises sometimes. What are the other stuff? There was a whole fly swatting minigame where flies would appear and you swat them and there's a whole minigame that starts. And the mystery mushroom. Mario Maker felt more like an experiment, the original one, where they just put in all their ideas. But then Mario Maker 2 came along and cut all the experimental stuff. And I feel that sort of hurt the game in my eyes because it's just fun to like fiddle around in. And also, Mario Maker 2 doesn't have the option for you to shake items and they change, and that was by far the best part of Mario Maker. So that means Super Mario Maker takes this spot. Number 7 is Dragon Quest XI. Now, Dragon Quest, the best way I can compare it to a game that I know a lot more people probably played in my audience is it's Breath of the Wild, but where there's RPG turn-based battles instead of normal battles. That's like, it really gives those Breath of the Wild feels where like you build the party building the party is fun. and like all the options you can take with the skill tree. But where you're wandering around, and as you get into the post game, it completely turns into Breath of the Wild. There's this big guy in the middle of the map in a castle, and then you can fight him anytime, but you gotta go around and do the other stuff if you want to. So I feel Dragon Quest, it's expansive, definitely. It's a long game, and it keeps you hooked, and that's something great games need to do to be fun. The battles take strategy, but my only complaint with this game is that grinding gets a bit too much towards the end of the game. At the beginning, not at all. You can just do whatever, but at the end of the game, you really need to grind if you want to get any further in the game. Number 6 is Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Now, I'm on fence about if this is the best Pokemon game I've played. I feel like they're all a bit even in my book, but this was the first one I've played. So I feel like your first Pokemon game, it's always more fun than the rest because you have that sense of discovery. Because now when I play Pokemon, I know exactly about the type matchups. I know, and unless it's an entirely new Pokemon, I don't get the experience of being like, oh, who's this guy? I get that very little in new games, but sitting here playing my first ever game, almost every Pokemon I saw, except for like the basic Gen 1 ones you see everywhere, was completely new to me. And I feel like that sort of made the experience more magical. So since this is entirely my opinion, not an objective list of the best video games of all time, that means that Pokemon Alpha Sapphire ranks above all the other Pokemon games I've played, since it's obvious I love Pokemon. Okay, number 5 is Bug Fables. Now, I've spoken about my love for Bug Fables in the past. I in the Corner, my biggest video that I spoke about it. And it's basically Paper Mario, but expanded upon. But the original Paper Mario. Like Paper Mario and Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, stuff like that. Those are really great games. But Bug Fables takes what the logical next sequel would be. Because instead of jumping and making a 2D platform, which I like Super Paper Mario, I'm not gonna put that game down. But it doesn't feel like a sequel to 1000 Year Door. This feels like it could be a sequel. Expands upon it. And it's, in my opinion, much better than the original Paper Mario games it was emulating. Oh, it also has great characters and a story that, although it's quite simple, it's complicated enough to keep you invested. Number 4 is Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Now, Shovel Knight, it's great. The thing about Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is I count it as one game, but some people don't, because it includes 5 games, technically, but they were all approached as like different campaigns in the same game. It's Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope, which is the original one where you play as Shovel Knight. Plague of Shadows, where you play as Plague Knight. Spectre of Torment, where you play as Spectre Knight. King of Cards, where you play as King Knight. And then Shovel Knight Showdown, which is like Smash Bros. Mixed with normal fighting game. It's strange, but I don't really like Showdown that much, but the other campaigns are amazing. The story, it's again the sort of same idea as Bug Fables, where the story is complex, but not too complex. It's just enough to keep you following it. And the characters are all charming. I love Percy the Horse, the best character. And on that thread of Percy the Horse, my favorite campaign in it is Plague of Shadows, because not only is Percy in it, and he has one of the that's the biggest role he has in any campaign, but the gameplay is Plague Knight, where like you're jumping around and like explosions and bursts and stuff. That's really the only way I can put it. It's really fun to do. The way you create the bombs on the fly. It made it a lot more fun for me than the other campaigns. Yeah. We'll move on to number 3, Hollow Knight. We're keeping the indie games that end with Knight in it. Hollow Knight is a great game. It's a Metroidvania, which means it has item-based progression. Basically, it's open world where you travel around the place and you're collecting different abilities, which then allow you to find new areas, but you could not do it. And then there's all the different endings, all the content. Like there's Godhome is a great area where you have to do the pantheons, where you have to fight every boss in a row, and those are so hard. But it's not, nothing in this game feels unfair except for maybe Nightmare King Grim. I'm not gonna touch upon Nightmare King Grim, but it all feels like every time you die, it feels like your fault. And I feel like with a difficult game like this, that needs to happen. You never blame the game because of how well the game is structured. Like, it's real difficulty. in every part in 90% of the game, instead as opposed to like that artificially inflated difficulty. So every mistake here is the players. It's not something bad at the game design. So that adds a lot of fun to it, to the challenge, because the challenge feels good when you eventually overcome it instead of feeling relieved. Because if the game was artificially inflated, like a Dragon Quest where like the enemies just become way too hard, so you're gonna need to start grinding, you feel more relief when you eventually beat it. But when it's it's 100% your fault, you can't beat it, then you feel like the sense of accomplishment that, and I think Hollow Knight does an amazing job of giving you that accomplishment when you beat any of the bosses, and even tough platforming at times. Let's move on to number 2 here, which is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't think I can I can't say anything about this game that hasn't already been said. This game is amazing. It has the sort of open world thing I like, but I don't like it when games are too open, if you understand what I'm saying. I want it to be somewhat open, but I want there to be a main quest you can follow without getting lost. But there should still be stuff to do on the way. You can get off track and do other stuff. I think Breath of the Wild does that perfectly. I gotta go free all the Divine Beasts. Oh wait, there's a Goron and he wants me to climb this mountain in a couple minutes. And it's like you get sidetracked so easily, and that's what makes the game so great. Because it thrives on the sidetracking. Because just going around and doing all the shrines as you see them, it's like, oh, I gotta go do this, and then you get distracted, and then in the end you're on a completely different quest than what you started. And that's the beauty of the game. The way it feels real in a way. The combat is very fun with the dodging and stuff, and it rewards the good dodging with flurry rushes are so fun to do because they take actual skill in that flurry rush where you have to dodge at the exact right time. If you do, you just can get so much damage off on whatever enemy you're fighting. It's great. Let's move on to number 1, my favorite game of all time. This one right here, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This game is amazing. Let's start with, I don't even know how many characters it has right now. There's too many to count. I'm pretty sure it has around 80 now. But it's great. All the different series represented, and always done so like lovingly, because it comes to the point where I haven't played any of the games that DLC characters are from. Well, I'm not going to count Hero because I only played Dragon Quest because Hero was added to Smash Bros. So he was announced, and then I played Dragon Quest 11. So I'm not going to count that in this thing where I haven't played any of the DLC characters. But I get excited, and I think that shows how well it's put together, and how much passion is put in, to the point where me, who doesn't know anything about Joker, got excited when I saw Joker's like overview trailer. It was all the characters that I knew nothing about explaining it. And the combat, I feel like it's the fighting game, but it doesn't go too much into like the button combinations, which always turns me off from games like Street Fighter. Although I love Street Fighter 2, the issue with it is the button combinations are hard to pull off sometimes, and I prefer it in a situation where you sit down and you can use any move, and then the challenge comes from putting them together, not memorizing a button combination. So you're like, oh, this move links into this move. That's the type of thing that makes it fun. I play as Rob personally, but I can play as any character, and I enjoy them, really. It's everything about the game. Like, it's put together perfectly. The music, the presentation. It's an amazing game, and it's by far my favorite game of all time. Okay, guys. Put down in the comment section below what your favorite game of all time is. Maybe you tell me if you agree with me, you disagree with me, if you think my placement is off, like you would put one of the games on my list higher up or lower down. That be sure to put in the comment section below, and that we can discuss it. And like guys, and subscribe. Now, I've been trying to hit 100 subscribers, because if I get 100 subscribers, I'll be able to get a custom YouTube URL, and that's going to be really cool. And I can make it something like youtube.com/netswire. You look that up, and it'll take you to my channel, and that'll be really cool to have. It's so much easier to recommend people my channel and stuff. So be sure to subscribe so that can happen. Okay, guys, stay cool.